Hello, welcome to the summary of the board that took place on the 27th of November. As usual, we started the board meeting with a patient story, and this month Martin Cuthbert, who's our nurse practitioner for complex needs on level 10 in the paediatric team, joined us. Martin talked about his role and described some of the recent developments in the support for children and young people with mental health issues in Somerset. He illustrated this through, I think, what was a really inspirational and thought-provoking story that highlighted the support that Martin and the team had provided to a patient who had attended YDH on numerous occasions following attempts to take their own life and to self-harm. The support provided has enabled this person to completely turn their life around, and they're now in full-time employment and undertaking a managerial qualification. There was a very, very thought-provoking story, and a lot of learning came out of that for the board. We also had a video. We posted a video that was posted on LinkedIn by a patient who'd recently undergone a hip replacement surgery and wanted to talk about their experience here at YDH. This was followed as usual by a video highlighting the work of one of the departments here at YDH, and this month it was the work of the clinical research department. We noted operationally that the hospital has been incredibly busy during November with significant periods of escalation, and we had a discussion about how we were managing that with an aim that we hold off opening Jasmine Ward until Christmas as part of our escalation plan. And the fact that we need that to deal with the anticipated level of demand increase after Christmas. In addition, work is underway to analyse the key drivers for the level of demand increase that we've experienced, particularly over the autumn period. We noted the current uptake on the flu vaccine, which is just above 50%. This is a little bit of a way off the 80% target that we are aiming for. Again, if I can encourage people that haven't had their flu vaccination or who have had their flu vaccination but haven't notified us to please do that so that we can make sure that records are up to date. There is a continued emphasis this week on that with roving vaccinators across the hospital. So if you haven't had your flu vaccine, if I just put a plug in now and ask you to please do that. We noted the staff survey progress, news hot off the press, so we're currently at a 72% response rate, which we're delighted with. It's a percentage above where we ended last year, so we've maintained that level of response from all of you, so really, really pleased with that. The board noted the work that the YDH endoscopy service has done to meet all the requirements of the JAG accreditation, which is effectively a mark of quality of the service, and they were awarded their JAG accreditation last week. And also further accolades for our nurse recruitment work, in the form of the National NHS Retention Awards, where the Trust received a highly commended award. It was hosted by the Burdett Trust. We went on to review our national or our 7-day services assurance process. This is again a national set of standards for the way that the hospital delivers its 7-day services, particularly focusing on 4 standards: time to initial consultant review, access to diagnostics, access to consultant-led intervention, so those are things like interventional radiology, critical care, pacing, thrombolysis, etc. And also daily patient review by the clinical teams. We're actually hitting all of those standards now, which is a significant improvement on where we were 18 months ago, and is, I think, testament to the amount of work and the amount of focus on 7-day services here at the hospital. We had a major item this time looking at our half-year review of the priorities that as a board we've set ourselves for the last year. So this is a combination of priorities that came out of actions resulting from our CQC inspection, the priorities that we as a trust had set ourselves back at the beginning of the financial year, and a set of other things that have come out during the year. And we noted progress against that. And we also had a presentation from Glenn Salisbury and Bernice Cook, who came and talked through the new Liberty Protection Standards, which are due to replace the current Doles arrangements in about a year's time. And it was actually really timely to have that, because I think we noted the amount of planning that is going to be required potentially to implement those standards. And finally, our usual focus on performance. It's pleasing to note the improvement in our diagnostic performance delivery. This is the standard whereby 99% of people should receive their routine diagnostic within 6 weeks, and we've had a number of months where we haven't achieved that standard, but in October we have achieved it again, so that's really pleasing. Still pressures around the cancer 2-week wait standard, particularly relating to dermatology capacity, but again we expect that to recover over the coming weeks. And in the month, for the first month for quite some time, just slightly dipped below the 4-hour standard for the A&E standard, but we maintain our position as being in the top 2 highest performers in the country. And then finally, we had a focus on the money, which again we've fallen slightly behind our plan in month, having been up until this point in the year ahead of plan. But we do expect significant pressure into Q4, and the major risks being the cost of escalation over the winter period, and also unidentified savings plans that we have had into Q4. So we're focusing on how we might recover that and get as close to our end of year target as we possibly can. So those were the main points from the board meeting at the end of November. There's no board meeting in December, so I'll be back here updating you on the meeting that takes place at the end of January. I'd like to, at this point in time, it's probably a little bit early, but to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Thanks a lot.